Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Black. I'm your host, ThePikaWu. In the last episode, we headed up the Dragon Spiral Tower, found out that N had revived Zekrom. We were told to revive the other dragon to see who was better, and as a result we are here at the Relic Castle trying to find out whether or not the Lightstone is here. I don't know if you can hear it squeaky, 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 but that's one of the annoying kids in the area that's just bouncing around on, like one of those pogo stick things, because I'm surprised those things even still exist, by the way. Like, why did those things still exist? I figured there'd be, like, cooler things that kids would want these days. I don't know, whatever. So, Pokemon-related stuff, let's just get into this. Apparently over in Paris, France, in, jolly old, France, Paris, whatever. Apparently they're going to be finally releasing the special Pokeball pattern Brilliant, which is going to be, I guess, an event for the Pokemon Center over in, Paris, France. It's going to start on June 4th and end on June 21st, so very limited window, but cloning's a thing, so it's cool. You will receive it at level 12, and it will have the moves Stun Spore, Gust, Light Screen, and Struggle Bug. And as Serebii notes, it's unknown if the event will ever make it out of France or not. Considering the short window there is for, the event, kind of like whatever. Anyways, this is where you can receive one of the two fossils of the game. The other one you will obviously not be able to get. So, so sad, I guess. But yeah, considering it's video game news, I'm going to kind of cover this as well. For anyone who knows me well enough, I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think it was as of like 2011 that Konami had shut down its little Yu-Gi-Oh! Gaming department. And as a result, we hadn't had very many, if any, new games for any kind of console for a while. I believe it kind of started back up with like Decade Duels or something like that. I can't really remember what the actual name of the game was. It was, I think, released for the PS4, the Xbox One, and I'm not entirely sure. It might have carried over from the PS3. I'm not entirely sure about that. All I know is that there was a game released for one of those, or not just one, but like, the Xbox One and the PS4. So, sometime while I was either asleep or, sometime when I was busy doing everything that I was doing today, because I've had to record things multiple times, I've had to deal with Howling Dog, and all this other happy fucking crap, they announced that the Yu-Gi-Oh! World Duel Carnival, I believe is the name, was to be released for Europe. It has a European release for, I think sometime, I think it was like late this year or something like that. I'm not sure if there's even a date on it. All I know is that Europe's the only one getting it right now, outside of Japan, who already has it. So, yeah. It seems like Europe, or the general area, is just getting everything before the Americans, the United States, the world, basically. Not that I really care so much about the pavilion. Again, cloning is going to be a thing. It's going to be all over the place. Everyone's going to be like, oh, well, I have this pavilion, 5 IV Kalos Bred Pokemon Plex. Because, getting transfer stuff isn't better. Considering the fact that you won't be able to, Poke-check or Poke-gen them unless you're, actually owning something that can rip your save file off of your thing and put it on the computer and then edit it through Poke-gen that way. Which I highly doubt a huge number of you actually have. So, yeah. As a result, like, I don't know. Like, it's stupid that people can clone, but I mean, again, it makes it a little easier for everyone to get these cool events when, they get them before everyone else. So, that's kind of the cool part, though, considering, I think it's like July? I can't remember what month I said it was in the last episode, but the Yancy movie is coming out in like the next month or two. So once Japan gets the event first, which they get it, I think July 19th was the date, as soon as it gets cloned, everyone's going to have them. I wonder which Brave Soul's going to actually, soft reset a million freaking times just to get a 5 IV one with all the IVs that it wants. Yeah. I mean, I personally would, even though I know there's like that long talking sequence, because we've all seen it on YouTube, I believe. I don't know if it's still on YouTube somewhere or not, but yeah. So, I'm going to kind of cover all this shit. I mentioned megas in the last episode, some megas that I wouldn't mind seeing. I've already mentioned Mega Milotic a million times. I do believe that it will receive the fairy typing. I'm one of those people that really does believe that that's going to be a thing. I feel like its ability is going to probably end up being multi-scale, giving it that Dragonite aspect or whatever in the sense of recover and then having full health and all that other crap. As for its stats, they're probably going to increase its special defense further, or they'll follow up, or they'll like try to balance out the defensive stats by increasing the defense more than the special defense. There's probably going to be a very minor, if any, kind of increase to the speed. Same goes for the special attack, and I don't know if they've ever done a boost to HP for any of the megas that we've had so far, but if they do, then I don't know if I can really see them doing that, because a bulky Milotic's already difficult enough to kill, especially when it can, you know, recover or, you know, protect on top of the toxic, which would just be ridiculous, of course. I kind of want to mention the fact that, you know, like, obviously Ruby Sapphire, these are probably going to have move tutors, which I'm surprised there isn't really any in X and Y, by the way, like, for real. Like, we couldn't even transfer our shit up until, like, what was it, March or so? And as a result, like, we had all the way from October to, like, March, where we couldn't give these really good moves. What? You couldn't give us a way to somehow teach old Pokemon these really cool new moves? I mean, we got new moves like Freeze Dry, we got all this other crap. Seriously? So, I don't know. Like, move tutor moves for any of the megas, as well as, like, anything else in general. I might actually do some of that in the next episode. I might actually cover some of the, like, moves that I wouldn't mind seeing as move tutor moves and given to certain Pokemon. But, I don't really know what I would actually give to things like the shit that I have here listed. Milotic, I can kind of see Freeze Dry being a possible move tutor move for it. Freeze Dry is a move that's literally only accessible by, I think, 3 Pokemon, and that would be Lapras, Aurorus, and Articuno. So go figure, a legendary, a fossil, and a Pokemon that is only relevant because it's like, oh, I appear as a Lapras when you ride me on the water, and that's kind of how it's been since the earlier games for the most part, except for, I think, in Black and White 2, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, HeartGold, Silver. Well, actually no, HeartGold to Silver I might be wrong on. I'm not entirely sure. I never used the Lapras to surf in those games, so I don't know. I could be wrong on that one, but yeah. So again, Freeze Dry is something I can see it potentially getting. Next mega I want to kind of cover is one of 2 Pokemon. I wouldn't mind it being one of 3, of course, but what I'm kind of talking about here is Staraptor or Swellow. Pidgeot's kind of up there as well, of course, but I mean, the only reason why people would want a Mega Pidgeot, let's be honest, is because Bird Jesus, like, seriously? It's the only reason why people would ever want that thing to receive a Mega at this point. Unless it, like, for some reason it was their favorite Pokemon, and they never watched Twitch plays Pokemon before. So, yeah, anyways. Whether it be Staraptor or Swellow, I feel like they're going to retain their normal flying typing. As I've said before, though, it would be kind of cool that if any of these 3 Pokemon, Staraptor, Pidgeot, or Swellow, if they ever receive a Mega, their hidden ability should probably be Gale Wings or Aeriality. Preferably Gale Wings, of course. And part of the reason why I would prefer the Mega to actually be Staraptor is because Staraptor has access to Intimidate. So it's kind of like that Manectric status where it can Intimidate and then Mega or whatever. But having Gale Wings to priority or Aerialate to turn things like Return, Quick Attack, and stuff like this into flying type moves, on top of its already really nice attack stat, and if I'm not mistaken, decent speed too. It would be pretty cool. It would be kind of up there with the whole Talonflame thing, of course. The sad part is it doesn't have something like Flare Blitz or whatever, but at the same time it kind of makes up for that with things like Close Combat. So I mean, it would probably be up there tied with Talonflame, probably in usage, but at the same time, Well, maybe not, because it does require to be your Mega for your team. So, I mean, it could, but it couldn't be. So it's kind of like a 60%-ish chance of it being like actually tied or something like that. Like just throwing out a random number, of course. But yeah, it'd be kind of cool to see something like that. I don't, like, again, I mentioned this like a few seconds ago, I don't really know about tutor moves, of course. Next one is something I'm actually kind of interested in how they would do it. Mega Metagross, kind of like, for some reason. I think it's going to retain the Steel Psychic typing, and it's probably for the best, but at the same time I can actually kind of see it going to full Steel. It doesn't look like a Psychic type to me at all, really. Take for example Golduck, it's not a Psychic type, but it can use Psychic type moves. The same applies to Greninja. And before all the Protean jokes, like, oh, it is a Psychic type after it uses the Psychic type move. No, base shit, it's, you know, not Psychic type. So there are obviously Pokemon that can use Psychic type moves, but are not Psychic type. So I really don't see much point in Metagross actually being part Psychic. So I feel like if it Megas, it'll just become like pure Steel. And if it receives an ability change, I would kind of like to see it have Levitate, which would kind of give it that Electros factor in the sense that it only has like 1 or 2 weaknesses. It would mean that it is now super effectively weak to fighting, fire, and mold breaker ground types, aka Excadrill. But outside of that, like, it would be pretty cool to have as an actual Pokemon. Being able to predict your opponent's Earthquake and then just Mega and then suddenly be immune to it would be really cool. I don't think there's very many aspects like that except for maybe something like Pinsir, who has whenever it Mega Evolves it gets the flying typing as well. So I mean, not that you would ever Earthquake a fucking, you know, Pinsir for whatever reason unless you're choiced or something, but I mean, let's be real. So yeah, it's something that I really would kind of like to see. I think it would be an excellent like bonus to Metagross. Salamence is the next one. Originally I was thinking maybe take away the flying typing, but I mean, have you ever seen a dragon with wings that wasn't part flying in this game, really? I'm pretty sure you aren't thinking of any at the moment. So yeah, it's probably going to retain the Dragon Flying typing. The only thing that I think this element really needs is the ability Tough Claws. Right now, Charizard is the best physical setup dragon in, you know, competitive play, just because with Tough Claws, it's already stronger than a regular Salamence, or I think even a +1 Dragonite off of Dragon Dance. So yeah, plus getting the Dragon Dance up on a Mega Charizard X just makes it even more ridiculous. So, I mean, again, Tough Claws on Salamence would be kind of a warm welcome. Last thing that I want to kind of cover Mega-wise is Mega Machamp. Mega Machamp will probably retain the fighting typing and nothing more, but it'd be kind of cool if it received the dark typing to make it weak to other fighting types and stuff like that, as well as making it immune to the psychic types. As for abilities, I feel like it would receive the Infernate treatment in the form of getting Iron Fist. It does have the egg moves, what's it called, Bullet Punch, it has Fire Punch, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch. So, I mean, you can give it a large array of like different punches that you could find yourself using. Fire Punch would be good for burning, Thunder Punch for paralysis, Ice Punch for dragon types, stuff like that. I mean, you can find some really good use for some of the punches on Machamp. Plus there's, I mean, Dynamic Punch if you really want to, you know, take a chance with that accuracy, of course. But yeah, as for stat increases, it could probably receive a significant one. Maybe a decent boost in speed plus some of the defensive stats, considering it would probably appear bulkier than it already is. So yeah, I don't know. So these are just some of the megas. I just dropped one of my 3DSs in the floor, but whatever. These are just some of the megas that I can kind of see being a potential thing. And like I said earlier in the episode, I'm going to probably take a good look at a long list of the moves that are actually a thing, and see if we can't like try and pair up some moves with some Pokemon to see if we can get some really interesting, you know, tutor moves in X and Y. The irony of X and Y. But yeah, in Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. Because I mean, there's a lot of interesting moves that I think that a lot of Pokemon could probably benefit from. They're probably already in the coding too, which means if someone was smart enough, they could hack into it and be like, oh, these moves are actually available on these. They probably will be move tutors later down the line. But no one's done it yet, or managed to actually figure it all out. So yeah. I really don't know what else to say here. I think I've already mentioned that I have to get a dust stone for this lamp in the next episode. I'm probably going to do that. I also think that it's possible to get Earthquake right now. I'll have to double check that off screen as well, because I think that the area that Isak gets this walk off on when we were still down in that area, I think that you can get Earthquake by going up there, and I think you can get back there after you know, go back down to the Relic Castle or whatever. Anyways, in the next episode we're going to be making our way to Opelucid City, or at least trying to make our way all the way there. So yeah, don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is the PokeGamer signing out.